Guess that's what happens when someone's scoring, throwing dimes, doing the whole thing. So I get mad too.
I'll go right.
Now, to start this off, there has been quite a bit of discussion on Tyrese Haliburton and his player Archetype. Because make no mistake about it, he's not one of these guys that are going to take plays off the dribble like Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, SGA, and so forth. The best analogy I could have for Tyrese is that he's almost like an off-ball Rajon Rondo. And this sequence right here is a perfect scenario showcasing this. He's going to get a dribble handoff right here from Turner. He's also going to get a screen on Chet. See, once they free him up, then his options begin to open up. And let's just say if SGA came out early and helped out, and also J-Dub stunted in a little bit more, clogging up his lane right here, he would kick out to the open shooters. A lot of Haliburton's opportunities offensively come off ball. And you know who would be a great fit alongside him in reality? Would be a prime Chris Middleton or a player like Kevin Durant. The ultimate catch and shoot, not too many volume shots, fit into any offensive system type of players. Because Tyrese would really thrive if he averaged 20 points per game and over 11 assists. And any of those players I just mentioned, they would average anywhere from 25 points per game, but also the Pacers will continue with their community-based offense. And with the Oklahoma City Thunder just having so much speed, this is why Tyrese, in his first 7 quarters of the NBA Finals, going into the fourth quarter of Game 2, he only had 19 points. The speed of the Thunder perimeter players are just way too much for him. Caruso, Dort, SGA, Case and Wallace. Sometimes the NBA media has that title of superstar a little bit too one-dimensional. And Tyrese does not quite fit in that box, and it's not necessarily something bad. It's his stardom is a little bit different. For example, here's another play right here. 2 screens. He's kind of using right here Thomas Bryant as a screen to get this 3 off. But he's not the kind of player that's just going to dribble through a bunch of guys and set up his own shot. You see right here, he gets the switch on Chet. It's not in his bag to shake him off right here and to get the shot off. It goes right into a turnover. That right there is not his game. And here's another example. It's not like Tyrese is going to take 20 shots a game trying to set guys up like this. That's something we've always seen along the lines of a SGA, a Damian Lillard, a Donovan Mitchell. He's not that type of player. A lot of it's going to be off ball. It's going to be a lot of movement. But the conundrum for them is dealing with that pressure, that ball pressure and speed coming from the Thunder defense. This is a nice example here. Look at the Thunder off this rebound. Check out Lou Dort. Look where he's at. He's almost next to the high post. Check out Lou Dort. Look where he's at. He's at the nail. But look at the recovery. They're sliding his feet. Man, Lou Dort is good moving laterally. See that little bump right there? It may seem like nothing. But when you get a couple of plays like that in a row, where Tyrese knows guys are closing out real quick, it begins to change players' psyche a little bit. And it happens gradually. Check out Lou Dort right here. You know he's going to fight off this screen and close out quick. Tyrese has been feeling that pressure, that heat on him since game 1. And right here, it causes him to pass up on this 3-point shot. But he still ends up taking a contested shot. You see that Oklahoma City speed got the Pacers acting out of character. Check out this closeout right here after this blitz on Tyrese. Naismith is open for a split second. But Case and Wallace with an excellent block. Let's look at that again in real time. Here comes the blitz. Look at that recovery. Sheesh. And that's what I mean. It's those incremental plays that kind of build up a different reaction, a different habit that the Pacers normally have when it comes to just them gathering up their shots, the way they act around the perimeter when it comes to certain pick and roll or certain actions overall. They know the Pacers are closing out quick. They might rush their shots a little bit extra, which could lead up to different kind of releases. And that's why we see their role players, as well as some of their starters who normally knock down threes, are not converting as well in the first 2 games. Again, with the Pacers, this is completely different than what they were used to in the previous series. As you can see right here, there's a couple of screens going on right here, almost a double drag, but Tyrese rejects it. And look, these type of double screens have always thrown off teams like the Knicks. They don't have guys that are in sync. Mikal normally should be reacting to Naismith. That's the difference with this Thunder team. These guys are more in sync, and they close out on these shooters quick. You see? Look at Brunson push Mikal Bridges on his play. And the reason I point out that game 4 with the Knicks, the matchup in which Tyrese Haliburton had 30 points, 15 assists, and 12 rebounds on 0 turnovers, is that a lot of the transition points that they got, the Thunder are completely eliminating that. They controlled the Pacers' transition offense, locking that out in the first 2 games. So Tyrese does not have that option. And that's where a lot of their creativity comes from. Some of the sporadicness on teams recovering early in transition, they exploit that. The teams that they faced in the playoffs previously, the Cavs, the Knicks, the Bucks, they're much slower in the perimeter. And it's been quite of an adjustment for Tyrese Haliburton, as well as the other Pacer players, especially their role players, whose bench units normally contribute more versus other teams. They're going to have to get it together because that speed has completely thrown them off. And for Tyrese Haliburton, unlike the Knicks series, there is no Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson to exploit on the floor. That's why it was a great adjustment by the Thunder by starting the finals by adding Cason Wallace to that starting unit. But going back to Haliburton, another issue he's been having that's been messing up his offensive flow is not getting a solid screen. Lou Dort has been avoiding these screens and sticking to Haliburton, very similar to what Naismith was doing to Jalen Brunson in the last series. Lou Dort defensively in the first 2 games of this series has been amazing. Here it is again. Tyrese can't get no separation. Look at Caruso, goes right around that. And he's going to get stripped by SGA.